I gotta admit, folks, this comes as quite a surprise to me. Lyft first quarter 2020. I was shocked. I thought the numbers would be way lower. But what I think Lyft managed to pull off is really recruit riders heavily in 2019. They must have seen a massive influx of riders, whether they jumped ship from Uber to Lyft. But I think if you read these reports, what really rescued them is that they have a phenomenal growth in new riders. Maybe those are people just sick and tired and fed up with Uber, and they went over to Lyft, right? That's the only thing I can think of that comes to my mind immediately.
Out of Lyft, Miles Udland has those for us, Miles.
Yeah, let's take a look at the stock. It's up about 9% right now. Lyft coming out with significantly better than
9%. It's up 15% already. It's up 15% already.
$5 million in revenue. The street was looking for around 830. Now its active riders, daily active riders, down 21.2 million. 22.7 is what the company had reported in its most recent quarter, but also its loss, adjusted EBITDA loss, significantly narrower than expected, about $97 million against expectations for a loss of around $200 million. So Lyft, again, first glance, better than expected numbers there from the
way
company.
better than expected.
And the stock is up
Shocker to me.
in after hours. We'll get more details as they come in.
Interesting on Lyft there. Of course, remember Uber had promised back in November, end of last year, that it was going to be profitable by the end of 2021. We've been waiting for a Lyft, which had said it won't be profitable in 2021, but of course that's all before coronavirus came in here. Andy, the sharing economy has certainly taken a very big hit from coronavirus. I mean, look, there's the travel aspect of it and the shelter-in-place aspect of it, but you layer on top
They can definitely afford
the
PPE
sharing,
and Hazardpan. I've got a great update for you on that.
The good news for Lyft and Uber, I think, out of this is that there's only one thing worse than riding in a Lyft or an Uber right now. You know what
On a
that
bus.
is? Mass transit.
Mass transit.
Right? And so if they can figure this out somehow to make it safer than riding in trains, they may have some, and buses, they may have something here. So I think, all is not done for, listen, and for almost all these companies, or for the healthy companies that are getting hit, all is not lost. It's just going to be 24 months of heck. Is that okay to say, Jan?
I think that is more than okay to say here.
What's it would be?
We would even take stronger language. That's fine too.
Hell.
All right, so that sounds like quite a shocker to me. I wasn't expecting that, and if I look at the stock price trading after hours, this is a big jump, right? So they come out with this announcement, way better than expected numbers, and then it shoots up a whopping 14.82% after market. Now the question is, tomorrow, Thursday, Uber announces 2020 Q1 reports, right? And can they match that? And I very much doubt that they can show the same increase in riders. That is where Lyft is probably gaining over Uber, is that they have a massive influx of new riders in 2019, and that carried over in 2020. Remember, the January and the February was still probably strong for both of these companies. This is really only, the problems really only kicked in March, April is when the market tanked, right? It completely dried up. But they probably still had a very strong January, February. They probably had a huge increase in riders signing up, downloading the app, and then also utilizing the app also January, February 2020. Now, let's look at some numbers here. So Lyft reported its Q1 2020 earnings after the bell on Wednesday, posting 23% year-over-year revenue growth. Pretty impressive. Craigslist, if you'd asked me, I would also say it's impossible. Are they pumping the numbers here? Are they juicing the numbers up? Or what is going on here? But you look at the revenue, $955 million versus $829.6 million, which was expected. That's a lot more, right? That's over $120 million more than expected, if you do the quick math. Losses per share, $1.31 versus 64 cents expected. The stock was up 13% after hours. It's actually already up to, let's go to the live ticker right now. It's up by 14.28%. I don't think that Uber can match that tomorrow. I really don't think that they can match that. For Lyft, though, the effects of the pandemic only began to kick in, as I said, around March, which means Q1 doesn't provide a full look at how the virus has hit the business. There, my guess is that Q2 will give a far more accurate report as far as pandemic numbers go, right? Because as they say here, the effects of the pandemic really only started affecting Lyft and Uber in March, April. Now that we midst pandemic, the Q2 should really cover the full brunt of the pandemic. Jack B shares a link, the lies of COVID exposed. All right. We got some conspiracy theorists amongst us, or what type of a link is that? We'll have a look at that later. I'm quite surprised that YouTube didn't block that link. They usually block them right away. Craigslist says if I pull the app up, there are almost zero drivers around, only a handful of drivers online in Minneapolis. I've tried the same thing in LA. There's definitely very few drivers in the pond. Here are the numbers from the report compared with analysts' expectations as compiled by Bloomberg. Again, I'm going to repeat those numbers. The revenue was $955 million versus $829.6 million expected. That, my friends, is a $126 million difference in Lyft's favor. Losses per share, $1.31 versus 64 cents as expected. The company stock was up, now it's 14.28. Ride-sharing companies Lyft and its biggest US competitor Uber have been hammered as ridership has fallen amid widespread lockdowns. Both companies have had heavy layoffs, with Lyft cutting 17% of its workforce. Uber, which is 986 jobs. Uber reported that it cut 14% of its workforce, which was 3,700 jobs, I think it was. Jack B says the word of conspiracists was created by the government to make them seem like outsiders or weirdos. I will entertain your views today. But your whole, that's where it ends. You got to put the link in there, and you got to basically share some conspiracy theories, right? But beyond that, you don't have a platform. Let me just say, if you want to keep on talking, Jack B, from here on outwards, it's about Uber and Lyft, right? We're not going to entertain further stuff in that direction. Thank you very much. So the firm also cut executive salaries by 30%, vice president's salaries by 20%, and all other exempt employees by 10% for 12 weeks, right? That obviously also sends a Robin Reenith's in the house. That sends a message to Wall Street, to the finance companies that are dealing with these stocks that, hey, we're cutting wherever possible. And my guess, Payman Ali, these numbers just don't sound legit to me. Thank you. Thank you. That's the first thing that came out of my mind and out of my mouth were these numbers definitely do not sound legit. Are they cooking the books? What do they do? What are they brewing there? Are they juicing the numbers? Are they injecting steroids into this report? I mean, what are they doing there? It just, to me, it just honestly just doesn't sound legit, right? And why do we say that it doesn't sound legit is because we sort of know what's going on over the last few months, and they're still able to report this. It's quite shocking. Rideshare 411 in the house. What's up, my friend? Hope you're doing well. My love, my regards to K-Town, LA. If you haven't subscribed to Rideshare 411, he's an awesome guy. I really, really like him. Sam is in the house. I agree 100%. Thank you, Sam. We're on the same page. Payman Ali says the rides just dropped off around March. Correct. I mean, you could literally say, Payman, that March and April, the numbers are pretty much non-existent. And they don't have food deliveries or anything going for themselves. So to me, March and April must be completely wiped off the books. What happens in Q2, right? Because Q2 is really going to reflect from here onwards, peak pandemic times, few months ahead. Q2 should be shocking. It's Moo says, to use your phrase, juicing the numbers. Yeah, I think they injected some steroids into this report. You know, behind the scenes, couple of little injections. Josh Penn says numbers are as real as the virus. That's a good one. I like it. The numbers are as real as the virus. Craigslist reports, says maybe they are selling weed behind the scene. Maybe, you know, drivers, the few drivers that are out there picked up secret stash of weed. The very few drivers that are driving, and then they're selling it out the back trunk, right? Big bags of weeds. Maybe that's how they're generating. I'm trying to figure out where this money comes from. This to me makes zero sense. Rideshare 411, hi Payman, hi Robin. Awesome. So yeah, this rather mysterious here. Not quite buying this. In a statement, Lyft CFO, the Chief Financial Officer, Brian Roberts, said the company will continue to make significant cuts in the year ahead, which they have to. And those cuts, I mean, are really kicking into effect second quarter, right? They made those cuts, they announced them before the Q1 so that people can see, hey, we are downsizing. We are going to try and get through this. Wall Street likes that, right? And when need be, when the market bounces back, they rehire. Very old formula. But have they been cooking the books here? I don't know. Just sounds too good to be true. We expect to remove approximately 300 million from our annual expense run rate by the fourth quarter of 2020 relative to our original expectations for 2020. Active riders for the platform increased by 3% year over year from 20.5 million to 21.2 million, while revenue per active rider rose 19%. Just let's break this down for a second here. While revenue per active rider rose 19%, which means, are they skimming it away from the driver? Are they juicing the numbers for the rider? How are they making that margin of rising that by 19%, the revenues, right? Because if you look year after year, how much extra driving does a rider really do? I don't know. There's something really fishy about these numbers. On April 21, Lyft pulled its full year guidance saying the impact from the coronavirus pandemic was going to significantly impact the ride sharing business. That's the way I read it. And I think that's the way a lot of you read it, right? That the pandemic numbers wiping out March, wiping out April 2020 should have played significantly into these numbers. According to Lyft, apparently not. Payman Ali says, let's see what fictions Uber comes out with. Yeah, let's see what little storybook they announce tomorrow, right? Payman, let's see what they concoct, what are they going to brew tomorrow? Robin says, Dara, rumor alert, did he give up salary? Yes, he did. He gave up his base salary for the rest of 2020. And also what I'm not buying, in that TechCrunch report, they said that Dara K only made $1 million in 2019. Again, not buying it. Not buying it. I'm not buying it. And what it took, probably the investors and the shareholders of Uber said, listen, Dara, here's the deal. You're on the chopping block or you accept this. They signed a letter on May the 2nd with Dara Khosrowshahi, right, that he would relinquish, waive his base salary for the rest of 2020, right? They might have said, listen, you either do this or we have to replace you with someone that is willing to accept maybe $5 or $10 million, right? But this 40 million plus bullshit ain't gonna fly. So my guess is they had him by the balls, and my guess is that the investors and shareholders had a lot of leverage over Dara on that one. Because as a person, he wouldn't have made that on his own, that decision. Hey, I'm cutting my salary. It's just not in his DNA. I don't think he's getting conscious now. I think they literally held a gun to his, you either leave or you accept this. This is just my little 25 cents of input on that one. In terms of Street quarterly 2 revenue estimates, we think Street numbers are optimistic. Street calling for negative 26% year after year revenue growth. Okay, for Q2, we'll see. And implies a very strong recovery in June, as April and May are likely to still face material headwinds of about 50% declines. I think it's far higher than that, April and May. I think that April and May for Lyft are far higher than the 50% declines that they anticipate. Wedbush analyst Dan Ives noted the struggle Lyft and its counterpart Uber will face in the months ahead, but said he is bullish on their long-term outlook. We expect Uber and Lyft to be hard hit by the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, looming recession, and slow reopening of economies globally, he said prior to the earnings release. We therefore have modest expectations for 1Q20E and 2020E. But we continue to be positive on the LT opportunities, despite many questions remaining around the business model changes on the other side of the crisis. And the headlines there, Lyft Q1 2020, 23% growth despite coronavirus. And what is it's already jumped up to, just while we were talking, it's jumped from 14 to 16%. So it's gone from literally $26 today, the announcement, right up after our trading, right up to 30.3. That's a big jump. That's a lot of money flowing back into Lyft after this announcement. But I'm not entirely buying it. I really am not. What are these guys up to? So on Wednesday, Lyft reported losses of $398.1 million and revenue of $955 million for Q1 2020. Citing COVID-19 impacts of its business, Lyft recently laid off about 17% of its workforce and slashed pay for remaining employees by 10 to 30%. Heading into Q2, Lyft is facing a new lawsuit in the state of California. Go Javier Becerra. He slapped them across the face yesterday, and he's a no-nonsense type of guy. He is not going to take any SHIT from Uber and Lyft, right? They cannot do the little Tony West and Kristen Zverchek of Lyft cannot do the little song and dance with Javier Becerra. When you look at his track record, the guy cleans up right away. Which alleged that the ride-hail company is misclassifying drivers as contractors and could categorize them as employees instead. And apparently, he's slapping $2,500 penalty on every single driver here in California. So depending on what agreement Uber and Lyft reach with the Attorney General Javier Becerra in the second quarter 2020, that should impact numbers dramatically. The passive-aggressive approach, as Robin Reeneth called it, of Lyft says, hey, we will work with the Attorney General. The culture, Travis Culture, Dara Kay, Tony West culture says, see you in court, right? That formula, I think, is not going to play out very well with the Attorney General. He holds the cards, they hold the permits for the cities. And I think they'll pull some strings if they don't cooperate. This is what Uber tried to do with Phoenix Airport. They tried to play that game. Phoenix yanked the licenses and the permits. Guess who came crawling back? Uber and Lyft. It's the only language that they understand, ladies and gentlemen. You got to whip them and take their permits away. That's it. You take a children's toys away, they can't play, right? That's the only formula that works with Uber and Lyft. So if I'm Javier Becerra, and his deputy right under Javier Becerra is one of my very, very close friends and clients, I'm just gonna let Robert McKim know at the next party, yank their permits. That's the only way they'll understand it. I'm going to tell them, hey, it worked in, but I'm sure they know this. I don't have to tell them this. It worked in Phoenix, Arizona. Do the same in LA and San Francisco and San Diego. Pull the permits. Deny them access to the airports, etc., etc. It's the only way they will feel the pain, right? Lyft shares shot up as much as 17% after hours as the company reported Q1 revenue and rider numbers that beat expectations. It's these rider numbers that are puzzling me. So they're basically saying that they must have got a huge influx of new riders in 2019 in order to show these numbers. Eddie Leal's in the house. He says, hi, everyone. Any drivers here that applied for it received their unemployment benefits yet? Not me. Anybody else got any good stories to report on benefits? Yes, Rideshare 411, 2,500 for each violation and another 2,500 for seniors. Maybe he sees it as senior abuse. Who knows? So there are some stiff. I'm not sure how many drivers there are in the California market. How many gig worker drivers are there in California? Right? How many drivers are assigned to Uber? Does anybody know that? How many Uber drivers in California and how many Lyft drivers in California? If you do some math there, you can quickly work out that multiplied by 2,500 for Uber, that multiplied by $2,500 for Lyft, that on top of being sued over AB5, which means they could retroactively have to pay hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars for all the misclassification dollars. If you add that all up, Javier Becerra is not playing around, slapping them down as he should be. Payman Ali says it will take years to work its way through the courts. Yes, if you play the game in the courts, but what does work, Payman, is when you hold the licenses. You hold those state licenses. And you say, hey, you're not cooperating with the law. We're revoking the license. That has nothing to do with the courts. That's the power that they have. It worked very, very well in Arizona, right? You don't want to pay your dues. You show the middle finger to the law. You're not complying. The law states AB5. That's what the law is. So you're not complying. So what they're trying to do, as Payman says, they will keep it in the courts for as long as possible. Javier Becerra won't play that game. He will start yanking their permits. And then you're going to see these companies cry. The states will claim damages for all the unemployment they paid out. Correct. If they lose in California, I predict they will appeal and will take the case to federal district court. They have a better chance under federal rules. Also true. But again, who holds the permits? Not the companies. You know, that was also one of London, UK's power cards. Okay, if you're not going to comply, we'll yank the permits. Eddie Leal says, as of September 21, 2019, Lyft says, there we go. Lyft says it has 325,000 drivers in California. Lyft. Uber says it has more than 200,000. Are you trying to say that there's more Lyft drivers in California than there are Uber drivers? Not quite buying that, but okay. Let's, I mean, one should be able to do some numbers. Anybody quickly calculate 325,000 times $2,500? What does that equate to? Robin says, SCOTUS is online now and doing videos. We will bring all Uber Lyft cases together. It can be done with due diligence. I like your thinking. Paymanali says, in the meantime, they will figure out how to deactivate the drivers who filed for UI. That is a big worry of mine, right? That is a big worry. Let's get rid of the troublemakers. Anybody, you know, that to me would be blatant retaliation. If there's a pattern, if there's a mass pattern there, that they deactivated people that filed UI, again, they'll have the next avalanche of lawsuits coming their way. Here is how the company did. The loss per share, $1.31. Revenue, $955.7 million. Active riders, 21.2 million. I believe it was 20.5 million a year ago. Revenue per active rider, $45.06. That's what the rider spent in that quarter. It's quite a lot, right? If you think of it. Revenue per active rider on average, $45.06 in one quarter. And they said that is up 19%. And there, my theory is they're either taking it away from the driver or they're finding creative ways of increasing it on the rider side. So it's Moose did the math for us. I really appreciate that. $812,500,000. It's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. There's a lot of fines. Las Vegas Uber drivers in the house. He says, what's up? Eddie Leal says, pretty sure it's a rough estimate. Old info, could be more or less for each company. That's true. Philmon Tewalda says, question, 23% up with the lockdown in place. I'm calling accounting tricks. I'm calling BS as well. Something does not smell right there. I smell a rat. Wall Street was expecting an adjusted loss of 62 cents per share and revenue of 893 million for quarter one, according to a survey of analysts by Refinitiv. However, estimates ranged widely. Comparing Lyft's annual results with estimates isn't straightforward either, given the difficulty of predicting the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. Lyft's losses marked a dramatic improvement from the year-ago quarter. Its first as a public company when Lyft reported losses per share of a staggering $9.02. The 8-year-old business made its market debut in March 2019. Las Vegas Uber driver says, I need to change my name since I'm in Southern California now. Why don't you make it the Vegas and Cali Uber driver? However, in the fourth quarter of 2019, wasn't too long ago, Lyft's losses were narrower at 356 million versus a net loss of 398.1 million in quarter one 2020. Not really much of a difference on the loss, give or take $42 million. However, its active rider number represented a 3% year-over-year improvement despite the impact of COVID-19 to travel and transportation in the United States. So over the 1 year, their ridership went up, from 20.5 million to 21.2 2 million, 3% increase. And on top of that, the riders are spending more per quarter. So I don't think Wall Street was expecting that. I certainly wasn't expecting that. The feedback that I get from the room is that those really look like juiced up numbers. I'd want to say that John Zimmer and Logan Green probably went around the corner and injected some steroids into that announcement. This just doesn't smell right. And the reason why I don't think it smells right, because you literally had the entire March and April wiped out. There was nothing going on in March, April. We know that, right? Robin says, any money Lyft is claiming in this pandemic may be coming from donations, included in our gross earned income. They don't even need actual evidence to deactivate. There is no due process. Right, but if they do mass, if they would do mass activations based on people that filed UI, and you can show cause that, that would be regarded as illegal. Paymanali says, I got kicked off Uber Eats because they claimed fraud. They like to concoct any excuse. I know you're not the character to commit fraud. My reason for kicking me off the rider platform with Uber, they never gave me a reason. Even when I confronted the attorneys, they were like, we really don't know. So maybe it comes out in court in the hearing, and I find out finally why they wrongfully terminated me. But they don't even know. They don't even know why they terminated you. The go-to claim is fraud. Well, you committed fraud. Yeah, you committed fraud. That's what they told me. You committed fraud. Why would I jeopardize my earnings and commit fraud? Right? Why would any driver jeopardize their earnings and commit fraud? Doesn't make sense. We're not filing a false claim that somebody vomited in our car because we want to collect $150. Why would you run that risk if you're making thousands and thousands of other dollars? It doesn't make any sense at all. As you correctly said, it is pretty ugly. We have no real protection. We're pretty much out there with zero protection. That I agree on. I've seen way too many drivers and food delivery people get wrongfully terminated in 2019 and 2020. More than I ever have. And it's troublesome. It's really troubling. During a Wednesday earnings call, CEO and co-founder Logan Green acknowledged that COVID-19 had a profound impact on Lyft's customers and core business. He revealed that for the month of April, rides were down around 75% year over year, and we're still down 70% last week. So if you're looking at April and saying that you are down 75%, and you're saying now in May, which is announcing right, we're down 70%, does that mean ridership is picking up? Because obviously the numbers as he's showing, they've gone down 5%. More people are using it. Not 75% less, but now only 70% less. So is that a sign that, did he slip those numbers in there to send a message? Hey, we're bouncing back. Jimmy Abstract Echo, did you get the emails? I sent you 2 business plans, one on the K9 dog training, one about art. Those are the 2 business plans I found. I sent you keywords for art, acrylic art, and I sent you keywords for dog training. Hope you got that. I sent you 4 attachments. Paymanali, it's time to move on. Past time. Yes, Captain, I'm with you there. Abstract Echo, thank you for the business plans. You rock. You're welcome. And then those keywords should help you as well in your marketing. And payment, maybe this is a sign that we need to move on to something bigger and better, right? I mean, we're on the same page here. We're talking the same lingo. I'm done with them. I just don't like the way they conducted themselves during the pandemic. And I'm glad that I got the opportunity to file 3 lawsuits against them. I want to get paid. I will get paid. And then the other thing is, I'm also glad that I, learned from the Uber and Lyft business and started up my own private business and funneled a ton of contacts into my new business. So I see that as a positive change. And Payman says, I hope things change In the meantime, I would suggest anyone to enter the shitstorm. I wouldn't suggest, or you mean you would suggest that people do not enter the shitstorm, right? Trying to, yes, oops, I meant none, exactly. No, I knew what you were saying. Thank you for saying that. Kevin Wenzel, he says, hey, Prof, Lyft won't let me drive because they can't do a background and DMV report. Cut my income, they don't care at all. Now, that's a problem, and I've heard that from several because they can't get to those DMV records, right? And it saddens me that the DMV is so fast asleep there. You know, why can't they get the records to Lyft? Or is this an excuse that Lyft is using? They're saying, you know what, you're pretty much off our system right now. We can't access your DMV records. Is that the excuse, or is that the reality? Las Vegas, Uber driver, how hard is it to get a chauffeur's license in California? I will give you the best guy with the best rates. There it is. I do all my paperwork through him, and his name is Alex. Best rates, fast turnaround. It'll take you about 60 days, and it'll take you anywhere from $1,000 to $1,200. You have to have an LLC. You have to get your vehicle registered commercially at the DMV. You have to get a commercial insurance. You have to get that vehicle weighed. And there's a lot of passing around of paperwork between the officials at the TCP and the DMV. Unfortunately, those wheels turn very slowly. So it's a 60 to 90 day process. But once you have it, believe me, it's gold. And if you build out a great limo company, you can then sell that along with the TCP license for a lot of money. My buddy just offloaded his for $58,000. So you're building value. Payman says, the mistake I think I made is I applied for the EIDL loan and found out later my info was exposed to hackers. So maybe that's why they claimed fraud. And that's a good way, I guess, to approach them. Right? Say, hey, this is what I did. Maybe in your eyes it constitutes fraud, but I'm appealing your verdict because I didn't commit fraud. Maybe this is how the way you read it, but this is not the way it was done. It's Moose says commercial insurance is expensive, extremely expensive, and it's gone up a lot. It went up exponentially in July 2019. I mean, very expensive. And Robin says, TCP works for me, looking forward to reinventing myself again. I love that attitude. I like that wording. I'm going to reinvent myself. Sometimes in life, it's good, it's healthy to reinvent yourself, because reinventing yourself means you're taking on a challenge and you're changing it up, right? You're not procrastinating and stuck in the old. You're going towards something new. So any way I can support you on that journey, just shout. Eric Harden's in the house. Dallas, Fort Worth in the house. We welcome you. Hope you're doing well, Eric. Hope your family is doing well. Kevin Wenzel says, yeah, for $1 million policy in Indiana, for a 2017 Suburban and 1015 Lincoln MKZ, $1,700 a month. Oh, you're paying too much, buddy. You're paying too much. That's way, way too much. And then if you see my insurance there, I'm insured through a company in New York. It's in one of my videos. Go and have a look and do some shopping there. I think you can get those numbers down. You should get that number down to about half. You should get that down to about $800 to $900 a month for those two vehicles. TCP, transportation, charter, permit. Some other states call it TCN or TNC, sorry. Eddie Leal says, as of April 2019, Uber has 3.9 million drivers in its network. Wish they had more recent data posted out there, which is good to know. But I was sort of also, see, what we were doing some numbers earlier, some calculations, that they're getting $2,500 fine from the Attorney General per driver in California. Somebody was kind enough to work that out. He said that works out to about $812 million. That's a lot of money in fines. Kevin Wenzel, 2015. Awesome. I hope you get those numbers down, Kevin. Go and check it out. To me, it just sounds a little bit too high, and maybe you can save yourself some good money. Plus, those insurance companies should work with you right now. The CEO listed ways in which the company has tried to promptly control costs, right? So they saying, hey, Wall Street, hey, financial world, we really have a whole list of ways we can promptly control costs and show you that we can become cost effective again. This is something companies have to do in these pandemic times. For example, last Friday, Lyft cut headcount by 17%, laying off nearly 1,000 employees. I think it was just short of 1,000 employees, and furloughing around 300 others. The company also slashed pay for its non-hourly employees by 10% to 30%, and said its board of directors would give up 30% of their cash compensation during the second quarter of 2020. On Tuesday, Lyft and its biggest competitor, Uber, also faced a new lawsuit in the state of California. 3 California city and the state attorney general, Javier Becerra, sued Lyft and Uber, alleging they wrongly categorized drivers as contractors but should be classifying them as employees under new gig economy law, Assembly Bill 5, that went into effect in California January the 1st, 2020. Like other ride-hailing companies, Lyft pays a significant portion of revenue to its drivers. I don't know about that, but has not generally provided them with employee benefits like paid sick leave, a matter of greater urgency for drivers affected by COVID-19. Analysts have suggested that self-driving cars could make Lyft and other ride-hailing businesses profitable on a long term. And I would say on a long term, right? That's pipe dream. And other ride-hailing businesses profitable on a long-term, consistent basis. Before the COVID-19 pandemic impacted its plans, Lyft was developing its own self-driving vehicle technology and struck a partnership with Waymo, Alphabet's self-driving business. I still see that far away. But here it says Lyft shares jumped 15% after Q1 2020 reports. Let's just see where we are right now. We are up 15.5%. And we're sitting at $30.18. But again, those numbers to me seem a little bit high. They seemed a little bit juiced up. Mike Smith says, Kevin, contact at least 3 different commercial insurance brokers. Tell each of that you are shopping your insurance and want to get competitive quotes. I like that. It's what I do a lot as well. It's Moose says, California estimates the loss between $7 and $8 billion per year from all of the gig companies because of misclassification. Wow, that's a lot of money. Michael Smith, Uber's drivers in London don't care about PPE because they are dirty anyway. That's your opinion. I think that's a little, that comment's just a little far-fetched there, Michael Smith. You like to judge others. How do you feel it if they would judge you? You're trying to say that you're Mr. Clean? I wouldn't go there, my friend. It's a dangerous statement you're making, Michael Smith. Payman Ali says, I'm not even going to appeal the fraud thing on Uber Eats. It's not worth the trouble. Henry K says, from what I hear while driving and being much more busy in Lyft than before, it is due to Uber not giving any promos, so Lyft is the cheaper option. Could be. Henry K says, to my surprise, I get 10 to 20 surge from Lyft in low income areas a couple of times a week. So it means you're still out there driving. You're on the front lines. New Jersey. Payment Ali says, so maybe the numbers they are published are accurate. My thinking, and again, it's just an opinion, to me, March and April seems completely wiped out. There's just nothing there. And there was an Israeli firm that said was 90% of their bookings were wiped out. So whatever 10% is of March and April couldn't have been much. That's why I find these numbers surprisingly high. Surprisingly high. Alrighty. Smash that like button. Thank you, Jimmy. We're on 8. I know we can get to at least 15 or 20. Late in the afternoon. It's super hot here. I mean, it's like over 90 degrees here where I am right now. Over 90. Insanely hot. Michael Smith says it was on the news, Uber drivers urinating and excreting in people's gardens and not washing their hands. You got to show me the link, buddy. It could be a few people. You're putting all the London drivers into one basket. That's not cool, my friend. Right? That could be a story by Rupert Murdoch, who likes to feed shit in the papers. Right? He's known for that, for his trash papers, the Daily Mail and all of those in the UK. Those are trashy newspapers. So I would not buy into that. I would not throw all London drivers into one category and make that type of statement. I would stay far away from that. Right? You catch 1 or 2 or 3 urinating or pissing somewhere in the gardens, and then you blow up a big story. That doesn't mean that the other 99% are like that. So I just be careful with statements like that. Las Vegas Uber driver says it's 97 over here in Marietta. That is extremely hot. Yeah, Henry Case, you're right on that. It's hard to find open bathrooms these days because all the food outlets won't let you in. So, you'll get lucky. I'd say at the gas station you can get lucky. They can't shut those doors to you. But on the gas station restrooms, I'd be extremely careful. Touching the handles, touching the faucets. I mean, bring your sanitizers with you. Bring your sprays with you. Right? I'm pretty hardcore particular when it comes to that. I have all my sprays and all my stuff with me. I do not want to pick up anything. All right, so we're on the 47 mark. We're on 9 thumbs up. If we can get it up to at least 10, that would be wonderful. Jay Morris, Lyft just sent email about UE, already forwarded to you. Cool, I'll check it out. I appreciate that. Thank you for sending that. And that's pretty much it. I'll make another video tomorrow on Uber's numbers. I'm really looking forward to that. Are they going to inject some steroids into their numbers? Are they going to juice their numbers? What is Uber going to be up to tomorrow with their numbers? Is it going to match this? This to me seems inflated. But that's just, again, that's my opinion, right? It doesn't make sense, especially because you had March and April completely wiped out. So not sure how they're spinning this story. But my friends, I appreciate you all. I got to grab a cold shower. It is so hot with the lights here, and even have the AC running. It's over 90. We're on 14. I really appreciate that. Thank you for smashing the like button. Very kind of you guys. And good to see you again, Payman, Ali. Glad you are doing well. Glad you've moved on from Uber Eats and looking at other things. And I think that's a big thing that we learned during the pandemic, right? To exercise other options. What is out there? What can I do? What can I do better? Where can I make more money? I'm pretty sure each and every one of you has at least done some investigating or some research into other options out there, right? We definitely have the time for that. Right now, after hours trading, $29.95. It's up 14.66% since Lyft's Q1 2020 announcement. That's a lot. That's a lot for one day. Yeah, Jay Morris, I look forward to reading that. All right, my friends. Henry in New Jersey, stay safe. Payman in Vegas, stay safe. What other cities? Marietta is in the house. Stay safe over there. Stay out of that 97. That's like a boiling pot over there. Man, San Bernardino County is hot. It's just like Vegas. What's the temperature in Vegas, Payman? Must be at least over 100, right? '98. Gee whiz. And 98 is in what city? Where are you, Jay? 98, wow. That's hot. Not even summer yet. I hope this whole theory that high temperatures are good and wipes out the coronavirus. I hope so. Those are sort of the rumors I heard. I don't know how true it is. And if there's any science behind it. Vegas is 98. Woo! Can't wait for Vegas. Viva Las Vegas. We're driving through Vegas in July. Getting a holiday to Utah. I spend one day in Viva Las Vegas. Party it up with the Uber and Lyft drivers and gig workers. We got a party like it's 1999 in Vegas. And I'm sure by then, July, it's going to be way, 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 way hotter. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys have yourself an amazing day. I just wanted to get this out there. Please stay safe. Thank you for the thumbs up. And we will connect very, very soon. Vegas Uber driver says winter will not be good if it comes back. Da-na-na-na. Yep. We shall see, right? Let's just get through this. Let's just get through this frickin' coronavirus. Be safe. If you're out there driving, please do everything you can. Disinfectant spray, clean your hands multiple times a day. And in 20 to 48 hours, I'll have an amazing announcement, great link. Behind the scenes, myself and the Canadians managed to secure a lot of PPE. Everything. Masks, everything. I'm going to be doing a lot of giveaways of PPE. I'm going to be making it available at cost, at wholesale prices. I'm going to be making some donations to police stations, to fire stations around me. I am getting a lot of PPE. And that's not just a promise that it's on its way from Canada, and it already has arrived in Canada. And now it's on its way down here to California to me. So let's see. Let's get those masks out to whoever doesn't have masks. Let's get those sanitizers out to whoever doesn't have sanitizers. I don't want to have anything happen like it did to one of our subscribers, Tina. And I had to send out all those supplements and tablets and all of that stuff for her so she can get her immune system back up, because she was stuck at home and she was sick like a dog. Eric Harden says Dallas 85 and pleasant. What about humidity, my friend? What about your Dallas humidity? Is it humid? That's the part that kills me. The humidity. Viva Las Vegas. Whew, it's hot. It's getting hot in here. Cool. Got another beautiful potential Mercedes in the pipeline. Saying it very quietly because my lady here thinks I have too many cars. I can't say no to cars. 96 in La Mirada. 96. Ay, 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 caramba. Mucho caliente. Eric Harden, 22% humidity. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. That's actually pretty pleasant. You're right. All right, my friends, we're up almost to the 1 hour mark. Not too many people in the room. I guess people are out and about. This is definitely not the best time of the day, mid-afternoon, to do a live feed. Usually mornings and evenings are better. You'll have far more people present, far more movement in the live stream. So 3 o'clock is not the ideal time to live stream, but I just had to get this out, this information out, because I just thought this was a little too good to be true. Just a little bit too good to be true, right? Them stating that the revenue sees a 23% growth despite the coronavirus. Well, Eddie Leal, I'll have a lot here. I'll show you guys when the big package arrives. And then I'll also announce the link in the next 24 to 48 hours, because we have a lot. It reached Canada, we've packed it up. Got the masks, we got the sanitizers, we got everything. If we can get it, Uber and Lyft can get it. No excuses, right? And this is myself with my Canadian buddies from the direct co-op. Jay Morris says, he caught me before my nap time. Didn't mean to interrupt your nap time. I will be going out now, Jay, so you can put your head down and get a good rest. Eddie Leal says, I guess Tampa, Florida drivers aren't a priority in the bigger scheme of things. I hope that's not the case, but I hope that Tampa, Florida drivers, just as any other drivers, just remain safe out there. I wish you a good day, everyone. Please be safe, drive safe, keep your family safe. God bless you all, and we will reconvene very, very soon. In the meantime, if anybody needs keywords, business plans, I've sent out probably 15 business plans yesterday, different types of business plans. People last night in last night's feed, which was very busy, went for 3.5 hours. We had a lot of people sharing what type of business they wanted to start up, and then I got them the appropriate business plans, right? Including Jimmy, who's in our house. Jimmy is thinking of doing 2 things. He's got art going, and he wants to do something with canines, with dogs. So this is a good time to strategize, plan, and build your future company. And if I can be of any support, I'll gladly do that. Peace out, my friends. Be well. Thank you, and thank you again. Thank you. Appreciate you guys.